Alex, and we're going to do a rig walk around today on our GX470 Takumi. Got the 4X Innovation rock sliders, the rifle case up top, Trasharoo, Max Tracks spare tire carrier that I built, the Wavian jerry can, Ironman awning on this side. The ditch lights, blacked out headlights. We have a Raceline 930B shift wheel and a positive 18 offset. It's a 17 by 8.5, and we're running the BFG KO2 and a 285 7017 in an E-load. And that goes from, this truck needs a 3-ply C-rated tire, and we're running E-load tires, which are 10-ply, which gives you a way more robust tire and less likely to have to deal with puncture flat in the middle of nowhere on a trail. For suspension, we're running a Dobinsons 3-inch lift in the front, and we're running the C59 302 springs, and the struts have the 1-inch raised lower spring perch. Give it a 3-inch lift. And we have the GX460 larger calipers and the larger rotors, and we're running akebono pads and then a Toyota factory rotor with a stoptech brake line. And we're running the energy suspension, extended bump stop in the front, white line poly bushings on the lower control arm, 555 Sankey lower ball joint with the 555 Sankey inner and outer tie rods, and with a Dobinsons upper control arm. And we're able to get a positive 4 caster, and we're running 0 toe and 0 camber. And I love how it drives. For the rear shocks, we did the GS59 701 shocks. We did 4th Gen 400 extended sway bar links. For springs, we did the C59 327 springs. They're meant to carry an extra 200 to 400 pounds of extra payload. And then I went with the Keith sway bar relocation bracket that gets welded to the rear axle, and that helps correct the geometry for the rear panhard bar, and it helps correct a little bit of the axle being centered to the chassis, and it did a really good job with that. All right, and for rock sliders, I like to build my own stuff, and I don't have a tube bender, so I went with 4X Innovations. They have a DIY weld it together kit, and it's welded directly to the frame. The top plate that they sell, I don't like, I'm not a big fan of, so I made my own top plate. It's at I think 18 gauge steel, and then I added a dimple die to be able to use a really thin piece of steel, but have it be structurally sound to be able to step on it. And we're really happy. It has a nice little kick out, and we've used it a lot, and we use it a lot to be able to stand on it to get to things on the roof. And like I said earlier, I like building things myself, and when I did the larger wheels and tires, the spare still fit underneath, but you had to remove the valve core, take all the air out, and ratchet strap the tire to the frame. And so that was getting old, so I built a spare tire carrier. I used the 4X Innovations hinge and latch, and I purchased a prefab jerry can holder. Everything else I made from scratch. It's a dual shear hinge, and this latch is really nice. It's all welded to the frame. I don't like bolting things on. A lot of other companies, everything gets bolted together and bolts tend to rattle loose. I've added a 2-inch receiver hitch so I could put my bike rack on here, and that will open together so I could still open the rear door. A lot of people mount a bike rack to the factory hitch, and then you have to remove the bikes to open the back door, which is dumb. I've added also a 2-inch receiver to the center of the wheel so I can mount accessories. So I made a mount for a Max Tracks mount, and that can easily come out with a lockable hitch pin. You're not on a trail, you can just take that off. And yeah, it's pretty good. We've also flush mounted some reverse lights, and they're down here because the reverse lights got blocked by this whole project. I've also added, relocated the backup camera. This holds 5 gallons of fuel, which is good. This is for a thirsty V8. This opens nice, and it has a spring-loaded pin that'll pop down in here. It's pretty good. Yeah, really happy with this. All the wires are routed internally to this cross member. Like all my wires tucked and hidden as much as possible. And here's the latch side welded to the frame right here. The latch side welded to the frame. Just a very inconspicuous little hole right there. And this one I try to cut the bumper as close as I could to be able to get this to fit real clean, which took a lot of work. I took the bumper cover on and off about 30 times trying to get this cut to be perfect and mocking everything up. Now I'm going to show you inside the back of the truck. I've done some mods. Open race. I built a tailgate table. I like to build everything myself as much as possible. I don't like rattles, so I mounted it with a piano hinge at the bottom. Speaker magnets keep it latched. I used a stainless steel cable that I crimped, and then I gutted a paracord piece of like cloth rope and used that to line the stainless steel cable to prevent rattles. And I always get stickers for different projects, so I wanted just to sticker bomb this. I don't like a bunch of stickers all over the outside. So our tailgate table, we have it set up to do diaper changes. Got changing pad and wipes, and got diapers right here ready to go. Boom. Added some lights here up top, which is nice. And then in the Japanese version of this truck, sold in Japan and other countries, there's a latch to be able to open the back door, but in the American version you don't get that. So I've added a linkage here that manually unlocks this mechanism so you can climb out of here. Inside we built a table that latches into the 3rd row seat mount. I use it all the time to go to Costco, and you can mount, you have stuff down here and stuff organized above it. I built a mountain bike mount. The mountain bike front fork clicks into here, and you can fold the 2nd row down and you can fit your bike in here if you're just going on like a little afternoon ride. And then from another YouTube subscriber, he recommended this attic net that goes into the grab handles up top. And so I keep just like some rain gear up there out of the way. Yeah, that's it. Right on the roof, a lot of people upgrade the factory roof rack to a full-length rack. I don't really think it's necessary for the stuff I'm doing, and I've been able to build brackets and stuff to be able to utilize the stock rack better. We have a 8-foot by 8.5-foot Ironman awning. We have a 38-inch light bar on a custom bracket. We have a rifle case mounted up here. We have our recovery gear there, and we got the most important tool of all, a shovel. It's mounted on a quick fist mount, and it's been solid, and yeah, just love it. There's room for more. I sometimes take these off and I mount a skybox from Yakima and put it on top for long road trips with the family. All right, next we're going to talk about armor. I went with RCI full steel. I went with their engine, their transmission, and their transfer case, steel cross members and steel plates. They work really nice. They're very strong. The RCI transfer case skid plate did not work well with the stock gas tank skid plate. There's not enough clearance for both of them to be in the same space. They want to be in the same little spot. So it took some persuasion with the BFH. And all the bolts bolting the skid plates to the Toyota frame, most of them were stripped out, and all the bolts snapped when I went to install this. So I drilled out all the nuts and then welded larger flange nuts the next size up, and welded them all in, and now I have stronger hardware and got zinc plated hardware. Toyota uses really poor hardware for all the things bolted to the chassis, so I upgraded that. And a lot of people get aluminum skid plates, and I feel like going through rocks, I really don't want an aluminum skid plate getting all tangled up like a sardine can. I'm really happy with the steel skid plates, even though they're heavier. I'm not worried about them at all. All right, for recovery points, in the rear we went with the Warren D-ring 2-inch receiver hitch and the D-shackle, and on the front we went with the Apex Overland front recovery point that gets bolted in 2 different planes, which is really strong, and the opening is large enough to fit a soft shackle through. All right, thanks for watching Ranjifa Motorsports. Make sure to like and subscribe for more GX content.